Joining us now with reaction is Florida Congressman Matt Gaetz and Trump 2020 National Press Secretary Kayleigh McEnany. Congressman, I'll go to you first because you've been a victim of this yourself. This ridiculous milkshaking garbage. And I got to tell you, I don't want to speak for you, but I'm pretty confident you might feel the same way. I'm getting tired of this crap. The left always accuses you of what they're guilty of themselves. They're the ones, and I'm not talking about all Democrats. I'm not going to stereotype like they do to us. But this radical left, Antifa, milkshake, throw water at people crowd, they're the ones. You don't see this at conservative Tea Party rallies. Am I wrong?
You're absolutely right. The hypocrisy and the projection of the left is absolutely dizzying. They are so committed to nonviolence, they're willing to snap Mitch McConnell's neck and put Stephen Ross on a pitchfork to prove it. You know, I mean, it's just absolutely ludicrous. I thought the way that Stephen Ross handled this when he was criticized by a wide receiver from the Miami Dolphins, a team he owns, was the correct way. He said, look, I engage in the political process, in the civic process. I want our government to be better. Stephen Ross is donated to Republicans and Democrats. I don't even know who he's donated to more frequently, but he didn't back down. He didn't shy away from his political participation, and that's how you've got to be a Trump supporter in 2020. You've got to be willing to sort of put the bit in your teeth and carry forward one of the greatest political movements that I know I'm proud to be a part of, and I know our president's proud to lead.
You know, Kayleigh, what's really embarrassing about this for like the deranged radical left, they're driving me crazy these days, is that you have this guy who donates to Democrats and Republicans, who clearly, President Trump acknowledged himself, may have some liberal leanings. I don't know him. I've never met him. I don't want to speak for him, just reiterating what President Trump said. So this guy, he indicates may have liberal leanings, gets a few minutes with the president at this fundraiser, maybe an hour to talk to him. Wouldn't you want to get that voice into the White House? Like, this is the most counterproductive, stupid boycott I've ever heard of in my life. And they've had a lot of dumb boycotts.
Yeah, it's a pretty dumb one. And when you consider the fact that Joaquin Castro, 6 of those donors on the list, had actually also donated to Democrats. Right. But yet they want to bully and intimidate their own constituents, their own donors. That's exactly right. But what Congressman Gaetz said is so important. It's motivating the group of 2020 supporters behind this president. You know, they want us to back down, Dan, but we are doubling down. I talked to people at the rallies who camp out overnight. They don't want us to rally on the left. They don't want us to talk about illegal immigration. They don't want us to donate, but they are putting a fire under every Trump supporter in this country. We are more motivated than ever before. So it is not working.
Yeah, Congressman, I think this is going to backfire. And what's particularly infuriating, why this gets under my skin, is I'll never forget that story of Bernie Sanders, who shares nothing in common with any of us on this panel politically, showing up at, what was it, Liberty University, a conservative-leaning university. He got a standing round of applause. Everybody treated him respectfully. You don't have to agree with him, but he was welcomed with open arms. You just don't see this kind of behavior. The Tea Party showed up on the lawn in D.C. and cleaned the place up. It's never been cleaner. You just don't see this on our side. It seems to be a uniquely far-left phenomenon.
That's because the country's doing so well, and conservatives and Trump supporters are eager to engage on the issues, to talk about the ways in which the transformational presidency of Donald Trump has actually improved quality of life for American people in every racial group, in every economic demographic. But instead of engaging us in fair debate, the radical left just wants to deplatform, demonize, destroy, because they know if we start talking about the facts and the economic realities and really the chance our country has to prosper, they don't have a leg to stand on. So it all has to be about making people who support Donald Trump out to be monsters, and that will backfire because it's going to drive turnout in places where people won't go talk about politics at the water cooler, but they're going to speak with their vote in this 2020 election.
You know, Kayleigh, given your position as an insider on the campaign, you're probably aware where the platform's going to go. In addition, this social media problem. Listen, it's a real problem. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, whatever, I'm on those accounts. They can ignore it all they want, pretend it's not happening. Any conservative out there, I'm sure, Congressman, you know too, you know what happened. Yeah. I'm not even allowed to run ads on my Twitter account for some unknown reason Twitter won't tell me about. Is President Trump going to make this social media? I'm not suggesting there's maybe a legislative solution, but at least using his voice to fight back against this. We've seen him do it so far.
Oh, there's no doubt President Trump understands this, and he has put a spotlight on it. He had a meeting about this with people who had been censored, conservatives who had been censored by social media just a few weeks ago. He's keenly in tune with this, the bias at Google, the bias at Facebook. I've been blocked on Instagram for posting Elizabeth Warren's bar card that was widely disseminated by the Washington Post. This happens everywhere to every conservative and to conservative men and women who are in the grassroots around the country. We have a megaphone to to expose this. But there are innocent conservatives who don't. And President Trump is standing up for those forgotten men and women. That goes all the way to taking these big social media companies to task because their censorship is wrong.
Congressman, I know the White House is focusing on, again, I'm not suggesting, I've got a liberty streak in me. I'm never going to get rid of it. I'm not suggesting there's a government solution, but it doesn't mean government attention shouldn't be provided. We know the president's focused on this. Is the Congress aware of this? It's a real problem. You and I both know it. They're targeting of conservatives.
There are a few of us who are aware. 4 members of Congress have been shadow banned by Twitter. Mark Meadows, Jim Jordan, Devin Nunes, and Matt Gaetz. Now, I don't think that's a coincidence that we were the only 4 that received that treatment, but we can work to remove some of the special protections that only social media and digital platforms enjoy in the law that protect them from liability that would apply to this news channel or your podcast or even the Wall Street Journal. And I think that they ought to have to play by the same rules as other platforms if they're choosing to be editorial. That's not more government. That's actually less government and them having to take more responsibility for their bias.
No, I agree. Listen, they got to make a choice. You either want to be a platform that's neutral or you want to be a publisher. You cannot be both because there are different rules. Thank you both. Congressman, Kayleigh, great job. Really, thanks a lot.
Thank you.